Hello. I was here 10 minutes ago. I don't know if anyone will be here now. Anyone the same? If you are here, say hello. No? So if you're listening, please write and say hello. Mhm. If you're there. Okay. It's getting late. Maybe you've gone for dinner. But if you are here, can you please say hello, so I know that someone might be watching. Mhm. If you're there, say hello. Um, if you're here, if you're watching, someone must be watching. Okay, well, for the video, talking about hobbies and what your hobbies are, and what you like to do for your hobbies. Okay. My name is Rob. I'm currently in Rome. And if you're watching, please say hello. But yeah, today we're talking about our hobbies, describing a hobby, saying why you do your hobby and what you do for your hobby. Okay. Also, maybe saying why you like your hobby. And then also using the present perfect continuous to say how long you have been doing a hobby. Okay. And then using for or since to talk about this hobby. And remember that after for, it's a duration of time, and after since, it's a specific time in the past. But yeah, if you are here, if you're watching, please say hello, so I know that someone is watching. Okay. So we're talking about hobbies. Do you have a current hobby? What are your hobbies? I realize now it's a difficult time to talk about some hobbies. Maybe you can't do them. But to talk about your general hobbies, what are they? So, for example, my hobbies. Um, my hobbies include playing video games, playing football, and also playing fantasy football. I suppose are my sort of main hobbies. Um, Hi, Cinzia. Cinzia or Cynthia? Cinzia. How are you? Thank you for saying hello. From Bologna. Lovely. Um, how are you? Everything okay? And also, what are your hobbies? So yeah, mine are sort of video games. I like playing video games, but which uh, I took up video games um, very recently, only like 2 years ago. I uh, I played video games when I was younger, but then I stopped for about 10 years, and maybe 2 years ago I I started playing them again. I don't know because I'm a big child. So to take uh, something up is to start. Um, and it usually talks about a hobby. Don't worry, Cynthia. I know. So, sometimes it's difficult to type and to write and to listen at the same time. Uh, but your favorite hobby is studying English, which is perfect. Um, when did you take up English, Cinzia? Was it recently or in the past? Hi, Giovanni from Barry. Welcome. So, Giovanni, we're talking about hobbies and just talking about what our hobbies are. Do you have any hobbies? So, question number one. Okay, fantastic. Okay, cool. So for 4 years. Um, wow, it's good. You've made very good progress in 4 years. Um, and you enjoy it. You must enjoy it, which is nice. And Johnny, you like so painting, play video games, going out with your bike. Okay, that's a good amount of hobbies. Um, and reading as well. Mhm. How long have you been painting for? So when did you start painting, John? When did you take up painting? Okay, Cinzia, that's good. So why do you learn English, Cinzia? Is it for travel or is it for just personal sort of want, or is it um, for studying, or why? Why are you learning English? Okay, cool. Since you're a kid, nice. You must be a good painter then, Giovanni. Are you a talented painter? I am a terrible painter. But what about you? Okay, cool, nice. Um, yeah, do you get lots of English tourists coming in? And, drawing and painting, Giovanni, or just drawing? Okay, well, you must be very talented, Giovanni. Okay, good, nice. Hmm. Um, the Academy of Fine Arts in is that in Bari, or is that in Rome, or where is the Academy of Fine Arts? And so, generally, do you start a lot of hobbies? So, question number. Oh, in Barry. Okay, good. Um, do you start a lot of hobbies, or do you stick with the same hobby for a long time? Sometimes I start hobbies and then I give up very quickly. Um, um, so sometimes, like, I'll start going to the gym, and I'll think maybe going to the gym can be my new hobby, but I'll maybe after 2 weeks I'll give up. What about you? Do you start a lot of hobbies and give up, or okay? Yeah. Remember, depends on Giovanni. Okay, yeah, yeah. So it depends on your mood, and yeah, Cinzia, you're quite busy. It's difficult to start her hobbies when you're so busy. Definitely. What about hobbies from the chat from the past? So question number three. Yeah, um, apart from now, I think yeah, uh, no one is very busy. Well, some people are busy, but during the lockdown, it's difficult to stay busy. But are there any hobbies you used to do, um, but don't now? So I used to swim. Me too. Okay, nice. Yeah, I'm the same, Chitzia. I used to swim as well, up until I was 16 years old, and then I stopped when I was 16. But you're similar in swimming. It's a good sport, swimming, I think. Wow, all of us used to swim. Um, yeah, I wonder, maybe like this is very common. Most children swim when they're younger, and then they stop when they get older. Mm. Mm. I mean, biking. Sometimes people say biking, Giovanni, but I think I would use cycling. It's probably better, um, and more common to use. Okay, when you were a teenager, you stopped. Yeah, this is the same for me, Cinzia. And what about the last question? Are you an adrenaline junkie? So, an adrenaline junkie is someone that loves extreme sports. So, someone that loves some extreme sports would be an adrenaline junkie. So, Cinzia, definitely no. I think me too. I'm definitely not an adrenaline junkie. Um, Skiing, I suppose I used to ski, um, but I think this is the most extreme sport. Yeah. Giovanni, are you? Would you say you're adrenaline junkie, Giovanni? Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely things like camping and cycling. Okay, so you like going outside. You're quite outdoorsy. Maybe outdoorsy would be a good adjective to describe you. Someone that likes doing things outside in the nature. Be outdoorsy. Mm. Yeah, sometimes they can be extreme. I mean, it depends where you're cycling. Maybe mountain biking is a little bit more extreme. Downhill mountain biking could be a bit more extreme. Okay. Do you often encounter a bear, a wild dog, or a boar when you're camping? No, I think I'm like Jins. Yeah, I prefer doing comfortable things. Okay, so I have some activities here, and we have four options. I'd like to see if we could put these options in the correct place. So we're going to go through them. Some of them maybe you don't know, but we can talk about these ones. Mhm. Um, okay, so you've encountered wild dogs, Giovanni, and yeah, wild dogs and cars. I'd say cars are more dangerous than wild dogs, but I don't know. So let's go through these and decide where they should go. So we have hunting. What do you think hunting? What type of activity is hunting? Is it an adrenaline activity? Is it outdoorsy? Is it a leisure or is it a sport? What do you think is the best description for hunting? Yeah, so yeah, Chintzia, like outdoorsy, maybe, yeah. Um, Yeah, let's say AJ out Leg, just so you don't have to write SP. So you could just write this instead of writing the whole thing. But yeah, hunting is kind of outdoorsy, isn't it? I suppose it could be a sport. Adrenaline, maybe. It depends what you're hunting, I think. But yeah, hunting probably outdoorsy. You're outside, you're walking in nature. What about skydiving? What do you think about skydiving? Yeah, there's wild animals, Joe. It depends. It depends what wild animals, I guess. A deer is not very extreme. AJ, Cinzia, do you think? Yeah, I think probably AJ, adrenaline junkie. Skydiving, you're jumping out of a plane. It's it's quite dangerous, quite extreme. Rowing, so rowing when you're on a boat and you are on a boat. What do you think rowing could be? Oh yeah, skydiving. Yeah, it's definitely adrenaline. I think. But you would like to try it, Jenny? That's good. Yeah, rowing's probably a sport, isn't it? It's in the Olympics, so it's probably a sport. I'd say. Um, it could also be. I mean, it could also be outdoorsy as well. What about fishing? Any idea fishing? So you catch a fish. Maybe leisure. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I agree with both of you. I think it could be leisure, definitely. It could be outdoorsy. I think here it's outdoorsy because you're definitely outside for fishing. But I understand why it could be leisure, Cinzia, I think, yeah. Um, what about collecting? So collecting things where some people collect stamps, or you can collect. Yeah, I mean, fishing's definitely a bit boring. Yeah, you can collect stamps, or yeah, leisure. Pretty much, definitely leisure, isn't it? Um, well, it's definitely not a sport or AJ. What about kayaking? Kayaking is like a type of rowing, really. When you're on the kayak and you have the one oar and you go in and out. What would you say kayaking is? It could be a few, I reckon. Yeah. Here we've got outdoorsy, but Cinzia, I agree with you. I think it could be. I think it could be any of these. I mean, it could be adrenaline junkie, outdoorsy, or sport. I think. So don't worry about that one. But kayaking is a lot of fun, I think. You did it in the past, Johnny? Yeah, it's good fun. Gardening? What about gardening? Outdoorsy. It's pretty outdoorsy. I think it's outdoorsy as well, Cynthia. But it says it's leisure, but I think it could be outdoorsy too. Definitely. Because you're always outdoors when you garden. Okay, so it was on a river. A river is always good for kayaking, isn't it? Bowling. What do you think about bowling? So bowling, when you have the ball and you roll it down the lane, and you have the pins. Yeah, probably leisure. But yeah, Chintzia, I mean, it could be a sport. I mean, let's be honest. A lot of these could be many different things. Like bowling could be leisure or sport. Gardening can be outdoorsy or leisure. So I mean, don't worry if it's not perfect. But what do you think? Um, what about paddleboarding? What do you think about paddleboarding? Paddleboarding is like a surfboard, and you stand on the board and you row with a paddle. Mm. For me, I mean, I'd say maybe outdoorsy, maybe maybe outdoorsy. It's got it as a sport, but I'd say more outdoorsy. It's not really a active sport, is it? There's no competitions for paddleboarding. Bungee jumping, bungee jumping. I think, come on, I think bungee jumping should be a simple one. AJ, yeah, bungee jumping definitely adrenaline junkies, isn't it? Windsurfing. Now, windsurfing. Take a guess. What do you think? Windsurfing, because I think it could be outdoorsy, adrenaline junkie, or sport. Um, but what do you think? Sport. Yeah, it's okay. It has it as a sport. Yeah, yeah. Sport. Next one is knitting. The pronunciation is knitting. Like there's no K. Knitting. And knitting is like when you make a scarf and you have the long sticks and you make a scarf. Um, it could be a jumper as well. Yeah, probably leisure. Um, hiking. hiking. Sport could be, yeah, hiking is like climbing in the mountains. So when you go walking in the mountains, you go hiking. So hiking, like sort of walking, I suppose mountains. Usually in mountains, like long walks. So could be sport, but I think probably outdoorsy because you're outside always when you're hiking. But yeah, paragliding. Paragliding is when you jump off a mountain and you just have a parachute. Yeah, there's no sport competitions. Sportive, I'm afraid, is not a word. It's a sport, would just be sport competitions. But yeah, paragliding definitely would be AJ, adrenaline junkie. And the last two, fencing. Fencing when you have the sword. What do you think about fencing? Sport. Yeah, it's definitely a sport. And this means rock climbing must be adrenaline junkie. I think rock climbing could be outdoorsy sport or adrenaline junkie. It can really be all three. Um, so I have two questions for you. Um, have you tried any of these activities? And also, would you like to try any of them? Uh, so, for example, I've tried some of these. I've tried rock climbing, fishing, kayaking, and hiking. I suppose rowing, windsurfing, fencing, bowling. I think I like hiking. I like going for walks and being outside, and I like kayaking, like Johnny, like Giovanni. Um, but have you tried any of these sports or activities? So, what do you think? Which of these activities have you tried? Okay, nice. So, Johnny, you tried a lot of these. Okay. Um, which was your favorite, Johnny? Sorry, Giovanni. Which was your favorite that you tried? Um, yes. Oh, Adchitia? Okay, you have a garden, but you've never tried gardening. That's interesting. Why haven't you tried gardening? Just because is your garden got lots of plants in it, or Or do you have someone else? Does someone else do your gardening for you? How does this work? But yeah, gardening I think looks quite relaxing. My mum likes gardening and she's quite relaxed. And Giovanni, your favorite sport would probably be kayaking? Okay. You said you went kayaking down a river. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, kayaking always looks fun, doesn't it? You can sort of travel along a river, and it just looks a lot of fun. Yeah. And okay, yeah, instead of time, yeah, it's difficult when you're so busy. But you have a friend. Your friend does your gardening. Does all of your gardening for you. That's nice. Must be a good friend. It's difficult to kayak when there's no water. Definitely. You can go sea kayaking. You're from Barry. Barry is next to the sea, no? You could maybe try to go sort of sea kayaking. My uncle loves sea kayaking, so I've been a few times. Okay, Jitsia, I think this is gardening. I think you have tried a little bit of gardening. Cut the grass. That counts as gardening. Okay, so he's like a. Okay, so it's his favorite hobby. So you're very generous, letting him use your garden. What about any of the? Okay, yeah. So it's nice, yeah. The positives of gardening is definitely having the flowers makes the house much brighter. I don't know. I think some people kayak in the sea, Giovanni. But yeah, no, I know what you mean. It's not super common, and with the waves, it can be a little bit dangerous. Careful with this one. Not too much quiet. It's much too quiet. So much too quiet. Okay, perfect. So we're going to look at this short text, and this text talks about someone's hobbies. Okay. We're going to look and try and decide what should go in each of the gaps. Okay. So, for example, the first one, it's I have been running 3 years. What do you think goes in this gap? For or since? For perfect. Yeah, Cinzia Giovanni, lovely. So it's for duration. Duration, it's always for, isn't it? So for 3 years. Okay. So we're doing for, since, or the present perfect. Yeah. So the second gap, it says, I usually train with my friend. We 10 half marathons and 1 marathon. What do you think goes in the second gap? Lovely, Cinzia. Yeah. Yeah, exactly, Giovanni. Yeah, we've run 10 half marathons. So when we talk about the amount of time, often use present perfect. So I've seen Harry Potter 10 times. I've read Lord of the Rings 3 times. Mhm. And then what would be after that would be for or since. So we've run 10 half marathons and 1 marathon. Mm, Yeah, since. Yeah, perfect. So since we started. So we started was a specific time in the past. So since we started, it's not a duration, is it? Exactly, exactly, Giovanni. And then the next one. So now we are training for our second marathon. I feel that I mean, technically, Giovanni, I'm struggling is fine. It's perfect. So I feel that I'm struggling with my training. Like now, I'm struggling. This person could also talk about something that they started in the past and something they are continuing to struggle with. So it could be present perfect. So like I've struggled with my training. Okay. Um, it could also be present perfect continuous because it's something that's ongoing. So I have been struggling with my training. So you have lots of options for this one because depends what you want to say, but they're all correct grammatically. But what about the last one? Um, I don't like to run alone, but my friend. Now, notice this is not have. What do you think goes here? So, Cinzia, yeah. It could be haven't had, maybe not doesn't. mm, it's talking about sort of recently, something that's happened quite recently. Often with recent events, we'll maybe use present perfect, like Cinzia said. But be careful, Cinzia, because my friend would be a third person, wouldn't it? Um, so it wouldn't be haven't, but it would be hasn't had time to train with me. Yeah, third person is always annoying, isn't it? Um, and then my aspiration is to finish in under 5 hours, but I'm afraid I won't reach my goal. No problem. Okay, just before we finish, thinking about for or since, think about how many years you have been doing your hobby. So, for example, I've been playing video games for 2 years. So, for example, I've been playing video games for 2 years. Notice I use present perfect continuous, but for this situation, you can also use just normal present perfect. So I've been playing video games for 2 years, or I've played video games for 2 years. There's no difference. It's exactly the same. Okay. So what about you? Perfect, Cinzia? Yeah, perfect. Yeah, lovely. So yeah, Cinzia, that's perfect. So you could say I've been studying English for 4 years, or I've been studying English since 2016. 16? I think. And lovely Johnny, yeah, I've been painting for a lot of years, or I've been painting since I was a child, I presume. Okay. Okay, guys, I need to go, but well done. Good evening. So well done, guys. Have a good evening. I need to go and cook some food. I haven't had dinner yet. But bye, guys. Have a good evening. You're welcome, Cinzia.